I'm going to say this to everyone who's hosted anything ever. Listen to what I'm saying. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay. You don't have to do everything from scratch. It doesn't have to be like Martha Stewart sourced stuff, like everything, like you're making your own sour cream, okay? Like it doesn't have to be that way. And when I say outsource, there's lots of different ways to outsource. So either, you know, if it's a bigger job and you want to hire a party planner or a caterer, outsourcing can mean, you know, instead of you making dessert, you pick it up from a bakery. Or instead of you making appetizers, there's a whole lot of businesses that do like charcuterie things like all ready to go. It's okay to do that.
And I don't mean to interrupt, but what I will tell you, especially, I'm going to say the word wrong every time, but with the charcuterie or charcuterie.
Yeah, charcuterie. You got it.
With those boards, I had my cousin, she had made it herself one time, but because of, again, the excess. So she went to go make one of these, and it probably cost her double, if not 3 times, what she paid someone else to do it. Yeah. Because she had all of this leftover meat, all of this leftover cheese. When you make one of those cute boards, you don't use everything of everything, right? But when you go to the store, just like you said with the almonds, you had to buy the whole pack of meat. So in this case, you actually save money, time, and energy. Food. Energy, you save all over the place just by outsourcing. So many positives when it comes to this. And one of them too is I love like just supporting someone else's business. For sure. There's so many local businesses that to me, they're not expensive when you consider the time that it saves you and stress.
Yep. 100% agree. And plus it's really nice when you're like hosting something and you say like, oh, I got this dessert from the baker uptown or whatever. And now you're introducing other people to that local business. Like, I think that's a fantastic thing to do. And Ina Garden, who I love, like I really, really love her. She will say that it's okay. If you're doing a 3-course meal, you should be outsourcing one thing. You don't have to do it all. Yeah. And I think that's a great tip. Like, so either you have guests bring the appetizers and you worry about the main and dessert. Yeah, so outsourcing, don't forget, is also friends and family or having other people like do things for you. It doesn't have to be something you have to buy. If you don't have the budget for that, you can always just ask people because most people are pretty good about saying, do you want me to bring anything? Can I bring anything? You know?
And truthfully, I know for me, like as a guest, it actually makes me feel a little bit, I'm not going to get the right word here, but I feel like I feel better about indulging on someone else's dime if I've brought something myself as like an offering. Yes. You know, it's like, I'm here to hang out and chill and do all of this and like, thank you for doing this. You know, I brought this as like a token of appreciation. That I think that's what I'm looking for. It's not so much like you're helping the host. And for me as a guest, I feel better. Is that bad?
You're contributing. Yeah. No, you're contributing. And like some events will lend itself to that more readily than other events will. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's doing something formal, they may not want you to actually like contribute stuff to the menu, but they'll just say, you know what, Kass, you bring the wine, you know, and then that's one less thing you have to do, right?
Because I'm not cooking it, so I can't screw it up. Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Listen, I can cook, I can follow a recipe, but for whatever reason, something happens and I end up screwing something up, I feel like. So before we move on, we've got Everyday Home Gourmet who has tuned in and they just said, I don't mind when others bring dessert. They said, I get stressed whenever they're on appetizers and they're late.
Ooh. Yes. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. That is something a good one. Consider. Yeah. So I have somebody in my life who's always late, and I don't want to call them out because they know who they are. So they never get appetizer duty, like ever. Yeah. Ever. So they're usually the ones who I say, you know what, if you guys just bring some wine, that would be awesome. Yep. So that's something, but I totally agree about being stressed out if you've asked somebody to bring appetizers and then they're late. So the flip side of that is if somebody's asked you to bring appetizers, then you got to be there for appetizer hour. That's just common courtesy.
And then maybe, I guess my only suggestion in that case is going to say, listen, like, thank you so much for bringing this. I appreciate it. But can you please be sure to be here at this time so that everyone can enjoy what you're bringing? You know,
Yeah.
I think maybe just a level of expectation. And you can always preface it as, if you're not up for that, no problem at all. How about you bring this instead? You know, like there's no hard feelings. No one has to feel bad if they don't think they're going to make it on time. But yeah, I like that. It reminds me of your Friends fan, Mara.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, when Monica was getting married and Rachel was only in charge of like 3 things.
Yeah.
And those were the only 3 things that Monica thought were going to get screwed up.
Yeah.
So I think it comes with a level of kind of know who you're asking to. Like if they're an acquaintance of an acquaintance and they've offered to bring something and you're not quite sure, maybe just eliminated it altogether and go from
And
there.
one more thing I just want to say about that is if I'm bringing something to somebody's house, like unless I know them really well and we've like chatted ahead of time and they've said like, I want you to bring specifically this. Okay. Don't bring stuff. This is the PSA. Don't bring stuff that has to like go in the oven or something like that, because that just means you've just given your host another freaking job to do and put your stuff in the oven. It may seem like it's a little thing, but not everybody has like a double oven or oven space. And maybe what they're making is already in the oven, so they don't have room to put your appetizer in the oven. You know what I'm saying?
So stick to the plan.
You try to bring something that's like ready to go. Like, here you go. It's all ready, and the hostess doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, I agree. So who else do we have? Oh my gosh, I love this conversation. Everyday homemade gourmet. I want to know what your first name is, darling, so we can call you by your first name. So they say also, don't you think that if people are bringing things, they should be ready to go? Yeah, literally just like you said, Mara. Yep. Yeah. I have a friend 100%. Who brings things that's always required her to be in the kitchen. So, I mean, helping, I think, is one thing, but that added, like, it's a mental thing too. So there might still be space in the oven, right? Let's say there still is space. Let's say everything was done and the host was literally ready to sit down and enjoy their time with you. Yeah. Right? I think there's so many different ways to go about it. So I just be mindful. And I think at the end of the day, just ask the question, you know, like, hey, I'm thinking about bringing this. I'm going to need your oven. Do you want me to do that or not? And on the flip side for the host, don't feel bad about saying no.
Right. Exactly.
No, that doesn't work for me. Can you pick something else?
Exactly. Agreed.
Yeah, guys, we're all adults here.
Yeah, agreed. Right? Yeah.
So outsource. So we've got why. Okay, hold on. Why, vibe, plan, outsource. Okay. Yep. What's number 5, girl?
And then kind of second last one. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Okay. It's weird I wrote this one down. But when you're planning an event, and like we said, I don't care if it's like dinner with friends or like something major, you have to let your personality shine through that event. Like you have to be true to you. So if you're not a formal person, don't plan like the whole formal, I'm not saying, okay, I shouldn't say don't plan. I'm just saying like, if it's not you, your guests will feel that this is not you and you're feeling awkward about the whole thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And so does this not just go back to number 1 as to why?
Why?
Right?
Yeah.
Like just be yourself.
Yeah. You have to be yourself and let your personality shine through. And like, you know, just because everybody's decorating with like white, if that's not you, don't do it. Like, that's not me. So if you're coming to sit at my table, like, it'll be white with pops of, like, color and stuff like that. You're not going to get, like, monochromatic kind of, like, that's not my vibe, right? So, and again, that comes down to your personality and the vibe that you're creating and your why.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, if you are the one hosting an event, they are coming to see you. Right? Or whatever it is that you're trying to promote or celebrate or indulge in or be thankful for, like whatever your why, whatever the intention is, that's why they're there. And if it is, like you said, this formal event, and you've never done a formal event before, I mean, two things I might say is I think you can still have your personality shine, but then maybe you just need to outsource a lot more.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
I don't know. And hey, like, honestly, even get yourself a stylist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you totally could.
And I look at it this way, and this is the one takeaway that I think I want everyone to realize is with all of this, with hosting, with planning a kitchen design, all of those things, what is your time worth to you? And how much time is this going to take away from your family, away from your work, away from your self-care, whatever it is? And what is that worth to you? So yeah, I'm sure I could go to the store and buy myself a dress, but if the stylist can just look me up and down and say this one in 5 seconds, worth it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think people underestimate or undervalue their time.
There you go. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people undervalue the time that it takes.
100%. And I look at it this way too. We weren't really taught these skills. We weren't taught how to host. So I don't know about you, but growing up, my mom always did birthday parties. I'm the oldest of 3, and we always had birthday parties. I don't want to say that they were themed all the time, but we had, clowns and whatever.
Yeah.
And so I only saw it. I wasn't necessarily taught, like, this is your A, B, C, D to get to Z at the end of the day, or sorry, at the end of the event. And so I had to learn this stuff. And there's nothing wrong with going to a professional to do it for you, because if you don't do it every day, then you shouldn't be expected. Like, it just adds so much stress. So I love that you say that. We all, I think, undervalue our time. And I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially as women. Okay, I'm not knocking you men, but I mean, I think a barbecue is one thing. But I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do it all. And I think we feel bad or guilty, or we should be able to cook this whole meal. But no, man, when you're working full time and you're raising 3, 4 kids, whatever you've got going on, what's your time worth?
Yep, for sure.
What is your time worth, and can you spend it better elsewhere?